Hi, it's Mark Bossert from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with award-winning, for the fifth time in a row, Vancouver's best realtor, Mr. Paul Toffoli. Paul, how are you this morning?
I'm feeling really good, Mark. Thanks very much.
Yes, so voted by consumers as the best realtor in Vancouver. We have
I like
to
I
give
like
the
the sound of it.
props. And that's a congratulations. That's very, very cool.
Thank you.
So let's dig into why you're the best realtor in Vancouver. Let's talk about the real estate buying criteria, and I guess really what that's how to select a home that's going to fit me. So how do I select an area?
Sure. So just to clarify, that was the readers of the Georgia Straight that voted me best real estate agent in Vancouver, and it's a nice honor for 2014. Um, so yeah, how do we select criteria for where we want to buy property, where we want to, whether it's a place to live in, whether it's a revenue property, or even commercial real estate? What is it that we're looking for? So let's talk about a place to live, because that's really the bulk of the people that I work with are people who are looking for a home to live in. And the first criteria is pretty straightforward. It's what can I afford? How much money do either I will the bank lend me, or how much money do I actually want to spend? Because believe it or not, I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, God, I can't believe how much money the bank's willing to lend me. I don't want to spend that much money. And I'm kind of I'm a person who believes in that. Don't spend to your maximum if you don't have to. Now that can be very challenging in Greater Vancouver. We find people are pushed to their maximum whether they want to be or not often. But so the first step is talking to a mortgage broker, talking to your bank, going through the process of getting pre-approved for your financing. Um, and that has a couple of different aspects to it. Number one is how much equity do I have for my down payment? So where am I getting my down payment from? Is this money that I've saved over the years? Is this a gift that I've received from somebody? Is this an inheritance that I have been given or left? Is this equity that I have in an existing property that I can pull equity out of a property that I already own? So either by selling that property, or what is often what I recommend to clients is if you own a property that you bought quite a while ago, and if you're able to just pull equity out, keep that, so do a mortgage where you pull a chunk of cash out of that, keep that property as a rental property for your retirement down the road, and then buy something else is a great way to go if you can swing it. But getting those ducks in a row, so talking to your mortgage broker, going through the analysis. Do I want to just put 5% down if that's all I have, which is the minimum you can put down under the current guidelines? Or do I want to put 20% down so I don't have to pay CMHC fees? Or do I want to put a little bit more down? So that's number one, finding out what you're able to borrow and how much equity you have or how much cash you have so that you can set your price criteria in a realistic spot. Because there's really nothing worse than going out and looking and seeing a bunch of properties in a price range that you think you can afford, and then push comes to shove, you find the one you love, you make an offer, and the bank says, no, we're not going to lend you that much money. It's absolutely devastating from an emotional perspective, and so why go through that? So get the pre-approvals in place and tick off all those boxes. So that's number one. Then number two is, where do I want to live? What fits my lifestyle? Am I thinking apartment condo? Am I thinking townhouse condo? Or am I thinking single family home? So that's number one. Am I looking at living in Vancouver, or am I looking at there's East Vancouver, West Side. Do I need to be near schools? Am I the type of person who's comfortable living in a strata property where there's bylaws and rules and regulations, and decisions are made on a consensus basis, and I don't have the final say on decisions, or am I a person who really wants to have the final say on what I can do with my property? Not in all aspects, there's bylaws and so forth. And can I afford that to buy a single family home? And it could be I'd rather have a single family home in New Westminster rather than a condo in Vancouver. Um, is it? Am I a person who will use transit? Do I want to be near Canada Line or Expo Line or one of the other rapid transit options? Or am I a person who's going to be? Do I need my car at work? So am I going to be commuting? Am I comfortable commuting from Langley to downtown Vancouver, or would I rather be in Squamish? So just some of these things that we work through to try and look at the different options about where and what.
So there's kind of like it's lifestyle, kind of maybe even a list of here's what's important. I like to hike, I like to ski, so maybe the North Shore is a better option, or I'm more of a golfer, so maybe Surrey or South Surrey become better options, or Marine Drive, et cetera, et cetera. All those things sort of make a criteria list of your lifestyle, and then, like you said, which kind of what are my personal requirements in terms of what kind of a place am I going to live in? Is that right?
Absolutely, and this is something that I go through with my clients regularly. I mean, most people, by the time they're sitting down with me, have already gone through a list, and they've hopefully they'll have met with a mortgage broker. If they haven't, I can refer them to one to work with. But they've already got a sense of, if they live in an area that they're happy with, that's number one. Most people will sort of have a few different options for different areas, but then it's about, what's happening in their lives. Am I about to get married? Are we thinking about a family? Do we need we need 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms? What can we afford in our different areas? Or from the other side of the equation, it's often people who are getting ready to downsize. We've been in the family home. We don't need the 4-bedroom home anymore. Are we comfortable moving into a condo? Are we comfortable moving out of our neighborhood, or do we really want to stay in our neighborhood? So those are the questions that we go through a process, and people come to me with a lot of questions around that. I've lived in the Lower Mainland my entire life. I'm really familiar with a lot of different communities and neighborhoods. I'll often find I have people who want to look in East Vancouver and North Vancouver, because you have similar price points and similar demographics and similar lifestyles in those communities. So what are the pros and cons of neighborhoods? What are the schools like? Those are all sorts of questions that come up, and it's a process to work through.
Sure. That's great stuff. I think there's lots there. This is probably, I don't want to drag this on too much today, because we have you have lots to do today. You're basking in the glory of your latest victory.
No basking allowed. No basking.
So I think next time that we should probably talk about how we can maybe maximize getting the best deals, like how do fixer-uppers apply into it, since you've done contracting and all that kind of stuff. How about rental options within a home? All those other things that might be that are a little bit outside of the box, but really good options for people to try and make things work in Vancouver for themselves.
Yep.
So thanks a lot, Paul. We've been talking with, again, award-winning best realtor in Vancouver as voted by his clients and the readers of the Georgia Straight, Mr. Paul Toffoli. You can reach him at toffoli.ca or give him a call, 604-787-6963. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Mark.